Alrighty, welcome traders. It is Friday, March 1st, 2024. I'm going to do a wrap up today. We're going to cover the end of the month for February. So we're going to talk about how February ended here. We're going to look at anything we may have done today. We'll take a quick look at the markets, some big moves in oil and gold today, see how those affected the accounts and how the markets are handling with the markets being up today. Nice start to the month of March. With S&P up 41 bucks today. So let's just jump into it. Let's look at the accounts first, then we'll look at the charts. All right, so here we go for the month, and I wanted to make sure that we recap the end of the month for February. Didn't really do a video on this, so let's make sure we get it out and get it to you. So Delta ended up the month yesterday at minus 12. Perfectly delta neutral. Theta 927. We ended the month at 442,565, which was a new all-time high at the end of the day. Buying power at 263.83, which after we subtract the bill is 48.99. So we were light on some buying power, and we realized 163 bucks for the month or for the day. And we ended the month up 21,928. And when we take a look at how that compares to the previous month in January, we beat January, which was our all-time high. We beat it by 500 bucks. So another new best month ever for the portfolio. So we're doing really, really well. Our goal for the month was 12,468. So we beat our goal by over $9,400. So 9,460 was what we exceeded goal by for the month of February. And overall, so far, I'm going to take this out for just a moment. If we take a look for the moment, just for the first 2 months of the year, we have exceeded goal by over $24,000. So we're really, really killing it so far. We'll see what this next month holds, but so far things are doing really, really, really well. So pretty happy with what we're doing there. And make sure you can see my screen here. So exceeding the goal by 24,334. So overall, really, 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 really good. 2 months of almost $10,000 exceeding that. We were 28-2 for trades in February. So we only had 2 losses, one of those being a hedge, which we expect to lose a hedge every single month. And one was a 0 DTE trade. We lost one of those for the month. So overall for the year, we have 64 wins and only 3 losses. Out of 67 trades, we have a 96% win rate overall. So we're doing really well. I'm excited where we are. We had a 5% month net lick-wise in January and a 6.5% month net lick-wise in February. So overall for the year, we're up over 11%. So really, really awesome stuff. Exceeded pretty much our goals on every single front. We were a little light on long-term 112s because we're still on the older contract sizes of 2, and we're now using 3 and 4 as our contract sizes per trade. So instead of 4 contracts a month, we're now up to 7 contracts a month due to the increase in size of the account. So overall, good month. We did close 2 long-term 112s. We'll be closing those for more money going forward. Strangles, 10,500 in strangles, which far exceeded our goal. We were looking at, I believe down here, when you look at our strangle trades, we were hoping to generate about $3,200 in strangles, and we generated over 10,000. And then for 112 trades, we were looking to generate about $3,000 there as well, and generated 7,000 overall. And then spec trades a little bit positive, and then some hedges took a loss and a little loss on 0 DTE. Otherwise, all good and like where we are. So I'm going to move this goal here. So our goal for this month, based upon the new net lick here, 13,277. That's a 3% month goal. That will be our goal. That's what we're going to try to hit for the month. We'll see if we can make it. This month, I am not expecting to be smoking the market by 2 times every single month. I think things will start to relax a little bit as we go forward here, but overall, we're pretty happy. Let's look at today where things ended. We ended Friday, first day of the month. We ended with a delta of -105. The reason for that is we put on another hedge. So we dropped another hedge into the mix, which gave us quite a bit of negative delta. I don't do low delta black swan hedge type things. I don't really do those. I would prefer to set my hedges up a lot higher so that they pay off a little bit more. So I have a higher delta put, and I have a few contracts on those. So those pay off a little bit more. Same principle as if you're selling low delta, you got to sell twice as much delta. It gives you a lot more risk. The higher delta you sell, the less risk, but maybe the less money you get. But the same thing is inverse on hedges. If you really want to hedge a portfolio, you need to sell higher puts or buy higher puts than lower puts to have those kick in more and have those take more advantage of Vega as well as we drop. Theta moved up to 1,043. That is because today, not only did we put on a new hedge, which we do on the first of every month anyway, but we also dropped a new long-term 112 trade into the mix today. And we also put on a standard 112 in RTY today. So we added a 112 in RTY, a long-term 112 in ES, and we put on a long put hedge as well. But overall, those changes added more theta to our account. So we're back to about 0.24 on the day. We did drop today, 438,723. So we took a little bit of a drop in net lick today, most of that being gold and a little bit on ES. But most of that was due to gold rocketing its way higher. And ES, it was mostly because we do have some naked calls on two different 112 trades. The nice thing about that is it's giving us good buying power relief. It's also giving us decent negative delta, which is totally fine here. However, those calls are going to be dropping as the market moves higher. So if we move higher, those calls will start to feel some pain. If the market starts to sell off and drop, I think we'll be in good shape. And I'm pretty happy with exactly where we are. I like having negative delta up here when the market's overbought as it is. Doesn't mean it can't stay overbought and continue to move. I just like where it is. We had a really long, good meeting with members today. Did an hour and 40-minute segment. I went through all the accounts, all the different trades, went through updating the spreadsheet, did all of that today. And we recapped a lot of things. I'll cover a few of those with you. But if you want to see the full extent of that, jump into the Discord. Anyway, there's where we are on the trading account. All good. Great month of February. Best month ever. So we're excited about that. And we're off to a good start, I think, in March with some new trades on. I really like the setup of the account. The only thing I don't like is my oil and my gold positions are getting a little light in the loafers. So let's see what happens with those. So let's take a look. I'm sorry, with the SOs here. Well, let's jump in and take a quick look at the account. This is what the account looked like at the very end of the session today. Overall, pretty good, like where we are. We can see that ES is at 87 as far as buying power goes, 87,000, followed behind by oil at 46.9, followed behind that, well, really by Bill at 43, and then copper sitting here at 40,000 in copper. So it's a little higher than normal, and then gold about 26, and then you've got some NASDAQ, RTY, and then ZB is also sitting here around 30,000. So overall, I do like the mix that we have. I feel pretty good with this mix. Because of our mix of hedges and our mix of diversification, it really opens up the buying power for us to be more effective in the trades that we're putting on overall. But gold taking the most pain today here along, like I said, ES, the reason it's down at all today is because I do have naked calls on two of the 112 trades. We did add calls as per our trade plan. So when the market starts to get to an overbought situation, I will start to add calls farther out in the money. I will sell calls at a certain percentage size to generate some more income without costing me a whole lot because I already have the naked puts on. So the calls don't cost quite as much because it starts to become more like a strangle. You can't lose on both sides. So it does even things out. It also gives me negative delta, which I like when we're overbought. And then gold taking a little bit of a hit today, mainly because gold had a really, really solid up day today, maybe because of the banking situation for the New York bank. But I don't really think that that's related to the Fed or anything else. I think that's just total mismanagement of the bank. So here's where we are on the portfolio. I really like what we see here, and you're going to have your ups and down days. So I think we're sitting in really, really, really good shape. All right, if we take a quick look at the markets themselves, taking a look at SPY, here we are back up to the top of this channel that we continue to bounce between. This overall ascending wedge that we have, yes, the momentum's up and we can move the all-time highs up to today. So today was another all-time high for the market, ending at 513.29. In fact, we can make this 513.29. We'll make this precise up here. So this is our all-time high mark. Maybe I'll change the color a tad to orange, just so that we can keep track of it. So all-time highs today, good stuff. Market looks strong. Take a look at the weekly here. MACD really pretty sideways. RSI definitely heading higher, but it is solidly overbought. Now it can stay here for X period of time, and we can see it stay here for quite a while, but we'll see how long that stays. The squeeze momentum is extraordinarily long. This is one of the longest squeeze firings that I've seen in quite some time. In fact, you can't go back. I don't know if we maybe take a look at the maybe we'll look here. You can look back all the way through to when this rally started back in October of last year. Squeeze has never really fired this long. This is the longest one here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, really, of the green squeeze firing. This is way longer. So 8 is usually the average squeeze. It can be a couple bars either way. But this is the weekly. This is the longest firing squeeze, and it's this very straight up shot. We are well above the 3 ATR levels here as well. So we're sitting above 3 ATR, but we've been above 3 ATR for weeks now. We just continue to sit solidly overbought, and now we're almost back to overbought territory on the daily. Doesn't mean we're going to pull back anytime soon. Things are strong all over the place. But I think what it means to me a little bit here is that it's okay to put some call pieces on, and it's really okay to start hedging a bit here. And I think this is the perfect spot for the BA112 trades. I usually would like to get more on than I have right now, but we'll play it by ear. I think we're hedged really well. We've got negative delta. So the market starts to drop, I think we're in really good shape. And the negative delta is all really concentrated for the most part in ES, which is the S&P. So that's where our negative delta is. So if the markets themselves start to pull back, we are going to really benefit from that. Plus, we've got a great amount of theta. We're cranking out over $1,000 a day of theta. We'll see how that plays out for this month as well, but that's going to put us on par for our goals overall. All right, so there's where SPY is. The Qs look pretty similar. New all-time highs here, 4, 4, 6, 5, 8. Okay, so new all-time highs in the Qs. We'll kind of rejigger this a little bit here. So you've got this uptrend that continues. We could pull it all the way back to here, I think. So this uptrend is solid, moving higher. You broke out of a bit of an ascending triangle here. Qs, tech stocks look super strong. They are back to overbought territory. Now, we did oscillate in overbought territory here for quite a while. I would say maybe four weeks or so overbought, and it kept moving higher, but then we did tail back off quite a bit back in here. So we're back to this same level where we were back here, and then that's when we tailed off pretty good. Now, we pulled back to the 50. I don't know if we'll pull back fully to the 50 or maybe the 21. Either way, I do expect a pullback to be on the horizon at some point in the near future, but we could stay overbought for a while. IWM is, to me, looking like one of the best opportunities right now. The great thing about IWM is on the weekly, everything's moving higher. Squeeze is moving higher and firing. You got RSI moving higher. You got MACD starting to move back higher. All your moving averages, well, at least the 9, the 21, and the 50, they're all stacked. The 21 just broke the 200 to the upside a couple of weeks ago. This looks really, really, really good. I wanted to get long, and I did that today. So we did get long. In fact, we are up 10% on today's trade in just a few hours. So we've already made 10% on today's trade in just a few hours on RTY. I like where this is setting up, to be honest with you. And if you really want to extend this range that we've been in higher, this white line is the all-time highs. It's not it. But I think 230, 240 is very, very doable, potentially on RTY. So I'm very bullish here. The weekly or the daily, MACD, RSI, squeeze firing, everything is set up for small caps to do well, especially if the major tech starts a little bit of a pullback in the S&P or the Qs. I think RTY is really set to rock and roll. Let's take a look at some of the futures. ES, we just really covered that with SPY, so nothing to look at there. But if we look at oil today, pretty solid update on oil. I called it out this morning in my charts to all of our members. I think we also put some charts on Twitter. So if you saw the charts on Twitter, you knew about this earlier today, and I posted the oil chart. What time this morning? At 8:42. So at 8:42, we were just starting to break through, and we really started to run up today. So you had plenty of notice on oil this morning to get in before it really started to get moving. But you're breaking this ascending triangle here. It looks super strong. The daily chart looks great. The weekly chart looks great. And the one thing on RTY as well. So let me hit RTY for you. Again, the one thing on this chart as we're breaking through, I know there's a lot of lines on here, but the one thing you'll notice is we're nowhere near overbought on the RSI daily or weekly. And when we look at oil, it's the exact same setup. So you're nowhere near overbought, which means we have some decent room to run. I think we could run up into the 84-ish range on oil short term. So I do like where oil is. We called it out this morning, and if you got in, you already made some money on the day. The other thing we took a look at today, earlier on this morning, was we looked at gold. What was gold doing? And really, see, what time did we post anything up on that? But we started talking about gold this morning. It was off to the races. You already had a PSAR bullish trigger yesterday as we ran up into the downtrend line, and we were bouncing off the 50, the 21. You got the 9, 21, 50 all stacked above the 21, moving higher. So gold's definitely been in a good move here. We've been talking about it for a while. I am bullish on gold. Yes, I do have a gold strangle. Yes, that strangle was under a little bit of pressure today. We're down a little bit of money, $1,900 or something on that particular trade. We're nowhere near stops on it. So we're in good shape. But, I think gold, if you're looking at the weekly, still in a PSAR bearish trend, bearish on the MACD, bearish on the squeeze. You're back into a squeeze. It's been bearish for a while. And now this is a pretty big move today. So today changes a lot of technicals for it. We'll see if gold can continue to do that. On the daily, though, you're going to get, if we can, any continuous follow through, we're going to hit the overbought region. Doesn't mean we're going to stop there, but I think you have more upside potentially in gold. We'll see if we pull back. If we pull back at all into this thing, maybe a 50% retracement of the day. If we can get back to 2050, 2070, or so, I think that's a great place to start to get long. We also have been selling naked puts in gold. Those are going to expire 100% profitable on Monday. So we called gold correctly on there 1 month ago. So we sold 2 naked puts to start a covered strangle. We're not going to get assigned on anything unless gold just reverses ridiculously on Monday. So we've been playing it right. I'm happy where we are on it overall. 97% profit so far in 20 some days on those are going to come off on Monday. If we take a look at bonds, overall bonds on the session today, bonds have been weak, but on the weekly, certainly in a downtrend here, everything moving lower, except RSI starting to tweak a little bit, but MACD squeezed lower. However, when we take a look at the daily, we are still in a series of lower lows and lower highs. However, you've got MACD moving higher, you've got the squeeze moving higher, and RSI moving higher. So you're starting to see bonds get on the move a little bit here and start to move higher because you've got rates dropping a bit, even though we don't expect the Fed to make any cuts anytime soon. And then the US dollar dropping as well on the session today. So it's still in this triangle. Something's going to break one way or the other. It looks like it could be the downside, might be the break, which is going to give us some nice upside moves potentially for some of our Forex. In fact, I'm going to fix this a little bit to make sure it lines up with the lower amounts here. So really sitting nicely on this line that dates back to October of last year. Had a nice move up, down. We'll see if it continues to move higher, and it's creating a larger ascending triangle here, but right now a really tight triangle moving sideways. Let's see what happens on Aussie dollar, but we did get some strangles on. We're sitting right at the 21 EMA, which to me is perfect strangle weather. Okay, I love where the strangles may be falling here. If we take a quick look at copper as well, just moving itself up nicely. We'll see where copper moves to. But overall, I like where copper is moving higher. We've got some great trades in copper. In fact, copper was our #1 gaining trades today. So copper made us the most money today. In fact, copper up, by far. Oil's close to our #1 winner. Copper right there. And copper's been just moving sideways, hanging out here, but you've got your moving averages all stacked. MACD is falling, RSI is rising, squeeze is starting to rise on the daily, and then just sideways on the weekly. I think it's perfectly set up in here. Our 112s are cranking right now. We are 61% in 4 days so far, a 61% return in 4 days. We've also got a strangle on that is up. It's up 51%, but it hasn't triggered the loss yet. Not the loss, the stop. It hasn't triggered the profit target stop. And we were trying to get into another copper trade today, and it looks like we're just not going to get the fill we wanted. So if we don't get filled on it, we'll put something else on. But strangle wise, this has been certainly one of our best trades. We just didn't get the profit target hit at 50%. We actually are above 50% right now and haven't been stopped. All right, so we'll keep watching where copper is. Hopefully we'll get out of that trade. Maybe maybe in the next little bit, or for sure, hopefully on Sunday nights trading hours, we'll get stopped there. All right, so there's where we are overall. I wanted to throw a couple things out here before I wrap up for the weekend, some things to think about. Number one, Apple looks terrible. And I made some comments today in our member video that I really, really don't like Apple here for a number of reasons. I mean, I think their innovation so far has not been good. Somebody said today that they thought they were trying to merge with Rivian or something. I think that Rivian is one of the worst EV companies out there, and Apple's one of the worst performing tech stocks right now with the least innovation. That to me is another recipe for disaster here. We'll see what happens, but this support line was broken pretty good today. It did come back up at the end of the day. So Apple just was only down fractionally. MACD is falling, squeeze is falling. RSI is falling. On the weekly chart, everything is falling. You have a descending wedge. I think Apple could be in for more pain. And if the 50 moving average here on the weekly doesn't hold, and we can't hold this 179 level, I think we have a lot more pain potentially to go to the downside. I don't like Apple at all. And if Apple doesn't perform well, will the overall market be able to move when one of its largest, if not the largest company, is not performing well? Microsoft doing decently, like where Microsoft is, not overbought either way. Little bit of weakness on the weekly, but the daily, we could get another bit of a pop here. Amazon looks nice as it's breaking this ascending triangle as well. So you're breaking the ascending triangle. This looks solid. If you look at Meta, had a big day today, breaking through its resistance. So you've got another new all-time high here, 504.25. All right, so this thing looks solid. We do at some point, maybe this, gap needs to be filled at some point. We'll just keep an eye on it. Running out of steam a bit here, but still close to overbought and high. And this is a very overbought stock right now. So Meta overbought. Apple looking weak. Google also looking weak. This has been in a kind of an ugly weekly downtrend for a while now. It broke this uptrend line that it was in. I'll just remove that uptrend line. That uptrend line's gone, and now you're looking at a pretty decent downtrend that we have going on the weekly and the daily. So you're in this downtrend channel. MACD trying to reverse higher. RSI still heading lower. Squeeze firing lower. And the weekly, everything is heading lower. So I don't like the way Google looks either. So you got Apple, you got Google, both heading lower. You got Meta overbought. Then we get into NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA absolutely overbought, but when is it not? But at some point, does this thing come back down to earth? At least a little bit. I'm not saying it's going back down. Sure, can we hit 1,000 on this? Probably. I'm not touching it one way or the other, but I think if you come down at all here with the market, I think that's going to put some weakness on. And if we look at Tesla, we've got this little, triangle, symmetrical triangle forming on the weekly with a little bit of a upward channel on the daily. So the weekly starting to reverse, looking somewhat decent in here, even though it's in an overall downtrend. It's getting a nice little bearish trend bounce. Okay, that doesn't look too shabby. And then when we look at the daily, squeeze is firing to the upside. MACD is not doing anything, but RSI is creeping higher a bit. I think maybe we test the top of this potential range, somewhere around the 210, 215, maybe before it falls apart. It would have to break the 50-day EMA here as well. So you've got four stocks looking pretty good: Tesla, NVIDIA, and Microsoft, and Amazon. Then you've got Meta looking a little tippy-toppy, Google and Apple heading lower. So I think overall, those lend some weakness here. I'm happy with my calls. I like where we are positioning-wise. I'm glad we have some negative delta. I think we're positioned well. So hopefully this makes sense for you guys, and you can see where we are. Again, fantastic month. Best month we've ever had trading in this account. If you like this video, click the like button. Do me a favor, help us out. Click the like button. Let people know. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, get subscribed, get the videos, watch what we're doing. You can check out the strategy videos as well. I want you guys to just learn, get a sense of how to manage your own portfolio, how to establish your own trade rules, and how to diversify and make money as well. And then if you want to find out the minutia of what we're doing, exactly what the strategies look like, how we're adjusting, how we're trading, jump in with us. If we're spending an hour a day, hour and a half a day, sometimes more, between Igor, myself, Joseph Puckett, you got Stacy, you got Rob, you got Timur, you got Eddie, everybody contributing to the platform here. A lot of contributors, a lot of different ideas, some really cool hedging strategies, some really cool twists on some of the things that we're doing. If you want to learn what we're doing and how to best set up a account, how to hedge it properly, how to protect yourself from the downside, but make money going to the upside. That's what we're all about. So come and join us in the Discord here. We'd love to have you guys join us, see what trades we're highlighting. You've also got Dennis in here, Captain D, with his trades. Got Rob, like I said, Rob trading, covering, he's doing a 40K account challenge, trying to hit 100% return on that. Timur trading, you can see what he's doing, wheeling in here. You've got, of course, Joseph Puckett. All of his YouTube, Joseph is on fire. The guy's amazing right now. He is scalping his way to riches. So you got a lot of stuff going on in here. Great live training session today with the members. Do you want to join that? It's worth its weight in gold. Come find out what we're doing and make yourself financially free, hopefully in the next couple of years or so, as you put in a great plan, start to learn from that plan, be in a room of really smart people, and really learn some of the strategies inside and out. Find what works for you, tailor the plan to yourself. And it's not just a, hey, let's just follow Tom or let's just follow Joe or somebody. Okay, we want you to just craft your own plan, learn how to trade, be successful. All right, you guys be successful. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck to you, and we'll see you in the trading rooms. Take care. Have a good weekend.